is a place.
No, no, no. Home is a feeling.
Home is my motherland.
It's more where you feel alive and inspired.
Well, I think we're talking about the same thing, aren't we? Home is where our story begins.
What's your story?
Homesick at Home every Friday from 9 to 10 p.m.
On Radio Van 103.1 with Ina MK
and Rena D.
Shot City. I'm coming home again.
Good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, 2018. Hello, everyone, and we're happy to be here back in our studio. We missed everything here. We missed chatting with each other, and of course, I missed you, Rena D. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. I'm glad to be back. We are back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back finally, opening up this season with a very special guest tonight, and we're going to discover this person. Yeah, this full of mysteries, stories, and to unfold. Rudolf Kalustian, right? I pronounced it right.
That's right.
Great. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening.
Hi,
How do you
Rudy.
feel?
Hello, Rena and
Ina. Relaxed?
Yeah.
Comfortable?
Everything's good. Thank you for the invite.
Do you like the color red?
Who doesn't?
Okay. Some people get aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we hadn't had any complaints so far.
No.
So what, Rena, what have you been up to these past
What haven't I been up to?
months?
It's been like, I don't know, it was crazy.
How
this
was
past
your
month.
New Year
It was
celebrations
good.
and
It was
everything?
good. How's yours?
Did you gain weight?
I'm not
did.
saying.
Well, I did. Yeah, it was fun. Well, if we missed this part of being sick all over the place.
Yeah.
But we're recovering because we have the medicine, the right medicine, which is called Radio Van. Yes. And for those of you who just tuned in, I want to remind that you can watch and listen to us live on www.radiovan.fm and also our official page, Facebook page, which is Radio Van FM 103.1, and also, of course, the frequency.
Yes, and you can even listen to us with the icons. Just scroll down on our website and you'll find the icons, the iOS or the Android, and just upload the application.
Our very new and updated application, which has a lot of options, starting from alarm, ended with...
Check it out.
Yeah, just check it out and listen to us anywhere you go. So, Rudolf.
Yes.
Actually, Rudy, right?
Rudy.
He's fine too.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Rudy. Tell us a bit about yourself, your story about coming to Armenia, why and where have you been?
Okay.
Where
What
did
have you
grow
been
up?
doing?
Yeah. Where have you been these
I've
years?
I've been hiding for the past 5 years, but now I'm back home. It's been about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So planning to stay much longer this time.
And where did you grow up? Okay, let's start from the beginnings. Yeah.
So I'm of Armenian origin,
Mm-hmm.
like all of us here, and I grew up living in France as a child. Went to school there.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Don't do that to me.
Had a
I know a couple of words. Relax, Rita.
yeah, I grew up there through the early 80s up to the mid 90s, and then traveled a little bit around with my parents back then. I was a teenager, and always had the dream to come and live home, since I'm of Western Armenian origins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I finally was able to make that happen in 2007. So I came here and lived for about 7 years here.
So that was the first time, 2007, that you visited Armenia?
No, I came here much before, but I was still living a little bit in different places and traveling around, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
When you said home, I really felt that, you know?
Where is it?
Oh, it's right here in the studio right now.
What does that mean when you say home? What Explain that.
Identity, blood, culture, traditions, language, family.
Yeah, a combination of all those, right?
Yeah.
And why Yerevan?
Well, Yerevan is the easiest choice out of the whole package. If you want to take Armenia as a country and go and live outside Yerevan, I think it would be a little bit difficult. Although it's also something I would eventually probably do one day. You know, a little bit outside of the city, maybe on the mountain range or something like that. You know, where you can do whatever you want to do. Let's say a little bit far from, you know, all that city. You know,
The commotion.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you compare Yerevan as a city and other cities that you have lived in,
Okay.
because Yerevan doesn't have that really big, I don't know, the temp of running everywhere, because we had a lot of guests from abroad that do say this, that this is what we enjoy about Yerevan, that there isn't that much of a hassle of running everywhere, and so how would you describe in comparison with other cities?
I think Yerevan is it's a big European, like Eastern European capital that you can compare with. You could probably compare with different countries, maybe from the Balkan or Southern Europe, maybe even like the Baltic region. But I think the other countries are a little bit more faster in lifestyle. I mean, you know, we Armenian people like to take our time and everything, you know. If your work starts at 11, you make sure to be there at 11:30, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a
Right.
very chill place to live, and we could actually, you don't have to run too much, you know, you can take your time and think about what you want to do, and it's pretty good.
So this is a good thing.
Yeah, especially if you like to party at night.
Oh, right.
Okay, Rudy, tell us about, you said 2007.
Yeah.
So you came, you moved, you decided to move, and you came. After you came, what were you doing here?
This is a very good question, and I hate to interrupt you, but
Oh, she's
this
doing
is-
it again.
we have a very short advertisement break, so don't go anywhere and think about the answer. We'll come back with Rudy on 103.1. This is Homesick at Home, our English speaking show. Stay tuned.
Ina,
Yes, Rena.
I feel homesick.
You want to talk about it?
This Friday,
Every Friday on Radio Van.
homesick at home. Homesick at home.
Reina,
Oh,
are you homesick? Okay, we're back in our studio. This is Homesick at Home with our guest, Rudy Rudolph. So, 2007, what about
yeah,
it? Rena,
that's
John, go
right.
ahead.
I forgot the
Yeah,
question.
I'm
Thank you.
reminding.
Okay, we were talking about when you moved, decided to move. That was
Yes.
2007, you said.
Yeah, I first moved here for the first long time, let's say, in 2007. And I came here trying to change my life, you know, because I always had that, I don't know how to put it into words, but I used to envy people that lived here while I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, seeing what's going on and how the country would start changing and,
Yeah.
you know, that whole thing. So I decided to move back in 2007, and I stayed here for 7 years straight. So started with a small, you know, I was just 24 years old, and I don't have much to do, like, and I mean, I graduated as a graphic designer and like doing fine arts, you know, painting and stuff like that, but we all know that thing doesn't really pay your bills, so
Unfortunately.
yeah. And in my past life before coming here, what I wanted to do was travel a little bit around. So before coming to Armenia, I was actually traveling for 2 years around Europe and different continents, but mainly in Europe. Just visited about 25 to 30 different countries and stayed there in the 2-year period, you know. So just wanted to learn about food and cuisine. It's one of my biggest hobbies
Wow. Nice.
to cook, and I like food from a little bit, you know, different places.
We need to go back to food, but before this, I have a question really quick. So, were there any moments of disappointment after you moved here? Well, of course, there should, but like, how did you overcome them? How did you fight with this kind of periods? Because maybe the Armenia you expected to be in your head was something different what you faced.
Like,
in
did you have
reality.
any misconceptions?
Not really.
Culture shocks, or I don't know,
No,
things
not
like
really.
this.
Culture shock is when I'm outside of Armenia.
Oh, nice.
That's how I see it. I mean, for me, being here is like, you know, just walking down the street, speaking your own language, where people makes it feel much easier and different, especially when you're growing up living in different countries, you know, and you have to, in different places, you have to adapt to different cultures, to different way of living. But when you're here, you don't have to adapt to anything, you know. Okay, they might be that,
Or everything.
well, yeah, well, they might be, you know, that little difference between mentalities, between. I don't like saying this today because it's not true, but back then there was a little bit of misunderstanding.
Maybe
you know?
kind of like cultural backgrounds in a way.
It really depends. I think, you know, Armenia used to be part of Soviet Union and went through a culture shock during Soviet Union. And a lot of those Soviet habits stayed among the people here, you know, but today it's completely different, and I've noticed this since I've been here, you know, like this past 2 months, you can see a big change in like men and women and how people think now, you know.
Can you specify a little? What kind of changes have you faced?
You know, acceptance.
It might be really interesting for people who are planning to come to Armenia.
Oh,
to
just
know.
come to Armenia. Armenian or non-Armenian, just come here.
Of course.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. In a way, yes, that is true. I guess it's because of the new generation growing up. Then we are being exposed a lot to foreigners.
Yeah, we've got a big tourism
yes.
income
That
this
has
year. Like a lot of foreigners coming in.
Yes, that's true. So you started doing what back then?
Food and beverage.
Okay.
I started with a very small pub. That was the first rock and heavy metal pub here in Armenia. And we established it in the winter of 2007, and we started running it like early 2008, around January. And it was located back then on Parpetsy Street, which used to be a very calm and family-oriented street. Unfortunately, sorry for the listeners, sorry for the neighbors, but things changed after that. And we all know what Parpetsy and Pushkin looks like today.
Yeah,
so.
it's like a pub street.
Yeah, it is. What was it called?
It was called the Rock Bar Yerevan. Simple and clean and straight to the point. It was a very small pub, about 40 square meter. We had a small bar with 4 stools, red walls, just like here. And, you know, we had a little bit of decoration from old classics of rock and roll, hard rock, hard and heavy metal, however you want to call it, you know. And yeah, we did pretty good. It was a new thing, you know. I mean, we had people come in that had nothing to do with the genre of music, but they would just come in because it was a new thing to have a pub in town, you know.
Yeah.
We had those old Soviet pubs or bars, let's say, where you would walk in and go like,
we didn't have that.
vodka, you know, like have just vodka, selyotka.
Yeah, and you wouldn't see a lot of youth going
you wouldn't
there.
see youth,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't see a lot of girls in those places
Right.
because it was very like conservative, and men should be sitting there and between each other, drinking
Right.
that vodka and discussing, like man talk,
Men stuff.
man stuff. Exactly.
So you were one of the pioneers in this.
That's what I
field.
wanted to mention. I mean, I just recently met Rudy in person, but since I've been in Yerevan for the past 4 years or so, I've constantly come across his name. I've heard his name a lot. He's quite a public figure in this nightlife industry. I mean, I've heard about him.
I don't like that word.
The projects that, for
Food
lack
and
of a better
beverage
word, yeah, for
industry,
projects, the venues that he has opened and managed, and now he has a new project. Would you like to talk about that?
Exactly. So since I came back, from 2009 till 2007, until 2013, this is what I was doing, and then for some reasons I had to leave the country, which we'll probably come back to this later on. So I was away from Armenia for 5 years, and when I came back here, this is what I had in mind, when I was living in Moldova before coming here. So I wanted to do something that combines all my projects from the past into one big project. Although there's not going to be a stage in this one. So, but same thing, food and like the beverage side is going to be there. And the whole atmosphere of the place is really a big part of my life, because in this one, me and my partner Saro, which is also the owner of venue, the venue, we have a good vision towards what we want to do, because we both believe in the same kind of stuff musically, and this is very important for us.
Yes.
For our clients, it's just a bar and grill, but for us it's a little bit more. It has a very close
Atmosphere.
side to the heart, and so we've decided to call the place Ace of Spades Bar and Grill Yerevan. It's after a hit song from the loudest rock and roll band in the world, Motorhead, which is my, let's say, somehow like religion, and we just follow that path. I've learned a lot from that band, from the lyrics and all that stuff, and I try to use that
Concept.
in our new concept. Exactly. So the project is going to be it's a full-on bar and grill, American style, where we'll be opening from 10:30 in the morning until 3 a.m.
Yeah,
And-
finally.
yes.
Yeah.
And the kitchen's going to be working until morning too, and we're one of the few places in Yerevan that
Okay,
have
wait for us.
after midnight license.
We're
So-
gonna come there.
Yeah. So when is this all starting?
It's starting next week on Saturday.
Oh wow.
So next Saturday, you're all welcome to come and join for the
What time?
opening.
Yerevan, we're going.
I think it's gonna be around 5 or 6 p.m., maybe more, until we put up everything together and stuff. So it might take a little bit of time, but we're working on that. So
Okay, Yerevan, get ready.
Yeah, for those
It's
who are
coming.
interested, just tell us the address. Where is it located?
okay, so the address, it's the continuation of Parpeti Street when you pass by Tumanyan, and it's Penderian 6.
Okay.
Okay,
There you go.
We'll be there. I
Yeah,
think.
I'm definitely going.
Yeah, and especially you look for a place which is open after like 11 or
Yeah.
12, and you cannot
And Rena,
find.
we're gonna have a lot of blues playing there.
Oh.
You're gonna like that.
I know, it's going to be my kind of place. I'm not into meat that much, but I'll
It's gonna
figure
be
it out.
it's a very dirty rock and roll establishment. Let's put it that way.
I like that.
Great. So we wish you good luck
Thank you very much,
in
Ina.
your new beginning, and we'll be supporting you. We'll be there, I think.
That's great.
And let's
Thank you.
talk more about the cuisine. I'm interested. What kind of cuisine do you like personally?
Personally,
Yes, and what do you like? Which meal do you like about Armenian cuisine? In Armenian cuisine.
okay. I like all kind of food. I'm a carnivore. Sorry, vegetarian friends, but I like meat, and wherever it comes from, whatever animal it comes from, I'll eat it. You know, and so
Oh.
yeah. I like meat, like different kind of stuff. Usually, I like grills, and I also like good elevated cuisine, like gourmet food from Italian food. I like Greek food too, but that's more like it's very similar to Western Armenian food, I guess. And yeah,
And what
when it
about
comes
the
to
Armenian?
when it comes to Armenian food, I prefer Western Armenian food because that's where my roots are from. And Eastern Armenian food is good too, but I think it's too much like the rest of Eastern Europe, like Ukraine and Russia, you know, Moldova, Belarus, Georgia.
Similar,
Do you
yeah.
cook yourself?
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm actually the one putting the menu at the new establishment. So,
But do you cook at home for your family?
well, I'm by myself right now, so I usually go out and eat. So yeah, but you can be my guest one day, and
Okay.
I can cook for you
You
guys.
you
No
you,
problem.
you said that on air, so a lot of people listened.
A promise is a
Yeah, a
promise.
promise.
All right.
Do you have any funny or weird stories connected with Armenia?
No, I don't know. I have funny stories every day. I mean, in
With
Armenia,
taxi
everything's
drivers?
funny. No, taxi drivers, not really. I mean, I try to avoid taxis. I'm usually, if I'm in Yerevan, I'm usually walking the streets. I don't like taking public transport either because I don't need it,
Yeah.
you know. But if I have to get outside of town, then it's usually with a friend's car, or if I really have to take a taxi, then
Yeah.
it's a taxi. But
Yerevan is that kind of place where you enjoy just walking, you know.
and the metro's nice too from time to time.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. Okay, I personally want to talk about music.
Go ahead.
Tell us, what does it mean for you? What kind of music do you enjoy? Have you had any kind of experiences with it? What? Tell us about music.
Yeah, well, music has been there. It's been part of my life basically since I'm 8, 9, or 10 years old. It's been there. It's been in the house. I don't know. At school, you know, started listening to rock and roll and like mostly old rock, like classic rock. You know, stuff like you know, like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, stuff like that. You know. And then eventually, with the years, early 90s, mid 90s, you know, it evolved into something different. And I started liking heavier music. So, yeah, I'm mainly into heavy metal and extreme forms of metal. So, let's put it that way.
Do you sing in the shower?
In the shower, I could.
But I'm gonna tell you a secret. I've heard this guy sing. We were jamming, and he came up on stage and he just blew it. He has this raspiness in his voice. Oh my god!
Yeah, we'll do it again.
No
Rena.
videos? No videos?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sometimes. No, but we used to have a project back then with your guitar player, with Sasha.
Sasha, hi,
Hello,
Alexander
Sasha.
Hagofian. We all
Sasha
know.
sometimes connects everyone.
We love Sasha. All of us here love him.
Yeah, we at my old bar we used to hang out after midnight, you know, and just put on the amps and just play some old blues, you know, like
Yeah.
just whatever came up to your mind, you know, would just come out. That's what happened last time too.
It was
At your show.
fantastic. His voice.
He's my cousin.
Yes. So, what do you do in your spare time? What do you do for fun, for leisure?
Well, now I have pretty much a lot of free time. I've been almost on vacation for 2 months since I'm back, but of course I'm doing my construction work at the new place, and usually it's like when I'm in Armenia, I like going outdoors. I don't usually stay indoors that much, And most of the time it's taking a walk around the city, or if I have the time to get outside the city, I really enjoy that, especially around the Sevan region and a little bit higher through Dilijan. And I think that's the most beautiful spot in Armenia, like from the Armenian highlands up to the north.
And the khorovats and the...
Oh, the barbecue, yeah.
You've been having a lot of those lately.
I have those every Sunday usually. So it used to be at my house, but now I don't have a garden. So now we just gather at a friend's house and have a good time, you know, listen to some music, grill some meat, get drunk. Why not?
Is there something that frustrates you about Armenia?
Not really. It
Nothing.
frustrates me that Armenian people leave the country to go and live in different places,
No.
Right.
Yeah.
knowing that we're 11 million in the world and there's not even 2.5 million living here. You know, that's pretty sad.
I know.
Yeah.
What is your passion in life?
Growth,
Growth? Okay.
just learning, teaching, learning more and teaching more, setting goals, making those goals happen and trying to aim for bigger ones.
Yes, and you are a father. And
I am.
Yes, and when you say this, it's I love the way he said it, and he's a father. So.
I am. Hello, Aurelia. I love you.
Hello.
Hello from
If
Radio
you're
One.
watching.
I bet she is.
So tell us about your daughter.
Oh, my kid is, I don't know. She's my award. Let's put it that way, you know? I miss her a lot. You know, it's very difficult. I went through a divorce a few years ago, and so decided to stay there for for a while, you know, until she grows up. And yeah, now I'm back here, but we're still in contact. Soon, hopefully, I'm going to go and visit her.
Hopefully.
She's a good child. She likes music too.
Wow. And how does being a father inspire you? Continuing the
Well,
subject.
I didn't really understand your question. Can you?
How
more
does being
precise?
a father inspire you in whatever you do in your everyday life?
Well, I do this now not just for myself or for the people that are involved in my work, you know, but for her too. I mean, it's for her future, not mine. I'm also gonna be living my life, you know, and growing up, but all this is for my kid, basically. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask a different kind of question. Do you have any phobias?
Phobias? Not really.
Oh.
No.
Nothing scares you?
I
Spiders?
don't like when it's too hot outside. That's the
Okay.
only thing.
That's
But-
kind of like a discomfort, but you have no.
No,
Phobias.
phobias not really. I mean, you should really be freaked out of something to have a phobia. Nothing has
Yeah.
really scared me so far.
Okay, so if you were a color, what color would you be?
I think you guys know the answer, no?
He's patting the sofa.
No, not red, not red.
Black. I would say
Yeah,
black.
I would
I
go
don't
with
know.
black. I like darker colors. I like
Yeah.
dark colors. Gray or black, let's say. Red is good too.
Red would be the second favorite,
On
right?
women.
Okay.
Why do men always associate that color with women? I don't know. He
don't
just
know.
said it too.
The lipstick, maybe.
Lips, underwear.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
Shoes. Okay. Any happy childhood memory?
I don't know. No, I haven't thought about those stuff, you know, so nothing is really coming to my mind right now. But as funny or happy? What do you mean?
Any.
Oh,
Anything you want to share with us?
I don't know. Not really. Probably the first time I was at a big festival or a big concert back in the 90s, you know, early 90s.
Okay.
It was a big boom for me, like, wow. And my life changed after that, so.
Nice. Is there anything you would never forget? Forgive.
Forget or
Forgive.
forgive?
Forgive.
Oh, this is gonna go ugly now.
Go ahead.
No. We're not gonna get political. Remember. So, no, I don't know. I don't like liars, and I don't like people that. I don't like liars. That's it.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
General.
Mhm.
People who are two-faced, maybe. Yeah. No.
Or three.
Or three.
I can't even deal with two. Okay. A question. Is there anything that you would like to change about Armenia?
To change.
Something that,
Besides people living.
yeah,
Abroad?
something that you would wish to change.
If you had the power, maybe.
I don't know. I should think about all this stuff in like before time, because when you ask me all these questions now, it's like bah, to my face.
But it's always like it comes natural when you,
When you're not
yeah.
prepared.
Well, I see a lot of change. So probably 10 years ago, if you would tell me that, you would ask me that same question, I would say, I wish it was like now, you know? But I'm really looking forward to see how it's going to be in another 10 years, because this country, I see it change very fast. You know, I've lived in different places, and I just came back from Moldova, which is also in Eastern Europe. And believe me or not, some people are going to hate me for this, but Armenia is like Germany compared to Moldova, or some places in Ukraine. I'm not going to say Kiev, you know? And the changes here are very, very like visible. You can see them. The infrastructure of the streets, the city center, those new buildings and everything popping out every day, you know? Even the cars on the street, you know, we used to have a lot of Russian cars. You can't point at them anymore, you know? A lot of things are changing.
Other than the construction, what else?
The people mentality has changed a lot, you know. I mean, when I first opened the bar in 2007, the first one, like I told you, you wouldn't have like Armenian girls come and sit at your bar because her brother wouldn't accept that, or her father wouldn't approve that either, you know.
Wouldn't let her.
Yeah, a lot of things change like that. But nowadays, like, you go to a bar and you have like 5 girls sitting on the bar, you know, and this kind of things, this is a lot of cultural things that are changing, and pop culture has somehow, like, it's part of Yerevan now. It's there on
That's right.
touristic guides and stuff. Everybody's talking about that.
Yeah, I remember when I came, first time I came for a visit, it was in 97, I think, or 98. And if I were to compare Yerevan today with Yerevan or Armenia in home, it totally different. Very different.
Yeah.
Yes. And
There's one thing I would actually, now I remember, like, if Armenia had a better salary wage, I think the whole thing would be so different.
Yeah.
And that's why people leave, because
Right.
yes.
because the living cost is pretty much like the West, you know?
Yeah.
But the salaries are pretty much like the East, and that doesn't fit together, you know? You can't make $300-400 a month and live that easy here. So I understand why
Yes.
people leave, but I think these things are changing too, because it used to be worse back then.
Yeah.
But life is getting also more expensive
It is.
each day. And some salaries,
Yeah.
most staying the same. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. Everybody knows that. Trying to move our way around all of that.
And we
But it's
need
not
to
just
go
here,
on a
you know, it's
break.
not just here.
She's doing it again.
Okay.
We had a heavy subject, so we need a little break. We'll come back after a short break. This is Homesick at Home, and we have a guest, Rudy, who tells about his experience living and working in Armenia. Stay tuned.
Աղջիրենա, ոնց ես?
Ina, I thought this was an English-speaking show.
Բայ խայտարակ եղա. Are we on air?
Yes. Every Friday night.
Homesick at home.
We are back. It's 41 past the hour, and we have Rudy with us.
Rudy.
What were we saying,
How are you, Rudy?
I'm super good.
Do you like our show?
Yeah, it's pretty nice being here with you guys.
Do you have a
Girls.
question?
Guys, girls?
A
It's time for you to ask a question.
Yeah, you can ask us questions.
Wow.
You
So when are
get
we
him on
when are we
spot.
gonna have that dinner thing?
Oh.
He's smart.
Okay, today is maybe during some weekend.
A weekend that I don't perform in.
Yeah, she's the busy
So
girl.
we'll go and watch Rena tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do that.
yeah.
Cheer you up.
Or Sunday. Oh, you have barbecues on Sundays. You can't.
Maybe not this one.
Okay, so you're
We'll
coming
see.
to Barcode this Sunday.
Okay, we'll decide then.
Okay.
Oh,
I want to ask a question.
go ahead.
Okay. What has Armenia given you? Is there anything in particular that Armenia has given you that other places haven't?
Identity.
When you say identity, can we kind of open the parentheses and like elaborate more about this identity?
Sure.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
you want me to talk about it?
Yes, when you say identity, okay.
You know, being a Western Armenian means that you grow up in a different place than Armenia, right? Because we're victims of the Armenian genocide of 1915. So our grandparents and a little bit further had to or die or escape, right? So,
So we're kind of like the survivors, not the victims, let's say.
well, we are survivors, yes, we are. And what happened after all this is that we had to adapt different lifestyles than our own, but always by
Yes.
keeping our culture, which means language, let's say just language, okay? And food, like food, you know, the food as well at home has always been Armenian, even though we lived in it. You could be Armenian from anywhere. I'm sure your mom at home is going to be making Armenian
Yeah,
food. You know,
of
this is
course.
how it is.
Dolma and the
Yeah.
sarma.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with the language. I mean, I grew up speaking Armenian at home with my parents. They spoke to me in Armenian, and the other places I've lived in never had a big influence on my background. I always felt very Armenian, and so the identity is what I really feel here in Armenia. I don't have to go and explain why you're not living there, or why is it like this, why is it like that, you know. Here I'm just who I am with my people. I speak my language, I eat my kind of home dishes, you know. And it's also very good to see a lot of Western Armenians coming back to the country, and I think the number has grown a lot,
Yes.
especially in the past 7 years. So I
Right.
think this is really
Yes.
awesome.
And the Armenian genocide, you touched this subject. So remembering and moving on. Let's talk about it. How do you combine remembering and moving on?
I remember every day. I don't move on.
No, I mean moving on in life, moving forward.
Well, it's you know, it's the dark past we have, and I have a lot of friends that are probably listening now that are not Armenian and that are from other countries, and most of them know about it because I've talked a lot about this subject. You know, for me, it's a very important point, and I want all the world to know about this because it was pretty much a big number, and it's there. I mean, having 8 million Armenians living outside of Armenia is a big proof of what happened in the past, you know. So I mean, it's not by choice. It's by blood.
Of course.
Yes.
So
Really?
yeah.
Do you like animals? Have you had pets or?
Animals. I've had pets. Well, I had a dog when I was young,
Okay.
a boxer. Yeah.
Okay.
And then while living here, my sister and my brother-in-law had two dogs. We used to share the same house together, and yeah, they had two very nice dogs, a husky and just some crazy breed little thing, you know.
Little thing.
Nice one. Yeah.
How many siblings?
I just have a sister,
Okay.
younger sister.
Where does she live?
At the moment, she lives with her husband in Dubai.
Okay.
He works there. She lives there with him. They just had a little baby boy, very cute.
So if they are listening,
Yeah.
we say
Hey,
hi.
guys.
Hello. And does she ever visit you or?
Yeah. They got married here in Armenia.
Ah, cool. Rudy, do you believe in luck or fate?
I don't know. Luck, as in what? You should be lucky to gain, or you should be lucky to be alive. In which term?
Luck, I would say, as in fortune. Right?
Yeah, fortune in life.
I don't know. Not really. Luck is not really important. You take your own mindset and you make your fortune. I think you shouldn't. You're not gambling, you know. You're there and doing your thing. I mean, if you do it right, you do it clean, you're honest with people, and people like you, you'll achieve. If you want to do things under the table, the wrong way, lie to people, and act like a, can I say it?
Yeah.
Like an asshole.
He's been wanting to do that all night long.
I'm keeping my language very clean tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, actually, yeah, I mean, luck is luck. You can be lucky with, things. But
What
when it
about
comes to work and stuff, it's not about luck. You should really be working hard to achieve. If you don't work hard, you can't achieve.
So luck is
You
the
know?
result of what you have done so far.
What about circumstances, let's say, or what about karma?
Come on.
I'm just asking.
I don't know. Karma.
He just answered. Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on. I don't know. I mean, if you believe in all those superstitious
Powers?
then you probably believe in karma and believe in other different sort of things. But I mean,
But
be
obviously
good.
you
Be
don't.
good to people. I really don't. No. So be good to people. I mean, people around you, people you work with, respect people. Everything will go as wanted. If you start doing wrong things, everything goes wrong.
You know what our radio director, Shushanik says? That luck is a worldview. So
Yeah, you
the
gotta
way
work-
the way
yeah.
you look at life
Yeah.
and the way your attitude on life.
I
So
mean, not
this is-
believing in luck, but being positive enough, I would say, and
Yeah,
believing in yourself.
you can be positive, of course.
Yeah.
You should be positive. And some things are not that important to be positive. If people are negative, it's just about you and the people around, basically. I don't really go and try to search for things that do not interest me, So if I'm with people that are around, it means I feel good, I feel safe, and
Yeah.
I'm interested to keep on going with these people. But I don't try to go and search in things that are
course.
not for me. So
What is love?
love.
What is love? Maybe don't hurt me.
Just said it, baby, don't hurt me.
no
Yeah.
more.
Love is love, I guess.
I knew you was gonna say that.
I was in love many times, and okay, I was. Everybody's fell in love before, right?
So
Right.
Sometimes it was
We've
good,
been there.
sometimes it was bad. I went through a lot of heartbreaks, stuff like that. But I'm not thinking about that kind of stuff at the moment. I'm just trying to concentrate on my professional like work
Professional love.
What about
stuff.
what about luck and love? Does that fit there, or
Yeah.
what do you think?
Maybe
So it
luck.
exists
Maybe
there.
luck fits more with love. Yeah, but with love, maybe it does. But luck and work, no.
Oh, okay.
Like when you said fortune and stuff like that, not really. But love, yes, you could be very lucky and just meet at a specific place the specific person that needs to be, your double, or in life your partner. And if it's most of the time it's by luck that you meet that person.
We found it.
So if you want,
We
that's the
found it.
lucky part, yeah. But I don't usually discuss all this stuff, like love and fortune and luck, and I'm easygoing usually. So
Yeah, but this is homesick at home.
We're just chatting.
Well,
Nobody's
yeah.
listening. Feel
It's all
free
good.
and just
It's all good.
relax. Is there any borderline of freedom for a person? For you? Where is that?
What kind of freedom? Like,
Your own personal freedom. Where is that line?
I think every single person should be free to do whatever the heck they want. So you could do. I don't believe in laws. Don't get me wrong. I mean, personal mind.
Okay.
I don't like people telling you what to do. When it comes from up there, especially. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know, as in laws and establishments, everything that has to do with the system. As a I mean, I do business here, so everything we do is under the law, but I wish some things could change as well.
Yeah, we're speaking about the personal,
Yeah.
the mindset. I mean, this kind of things, not the laws in work or the personal freedom. I mean,
Yeah, I think people should be free to do whatever they want,
okay, if
especially
you're
especially in your
hurting
own
someone,
house, especially in your
instance.
own house.
But
if you
So-
want to go and hurt someone, for instance, yeah, like a primitive example. So you're free to go and do it?
But that's different.
Yeah.
That's already doing something that might put you into trouble, because then you're touching the law that tells you that you can't obviously kill somebody because you go to jail or hurt or punch
No, I
or
mean,
stab, whatever.
Hurt maybe morally, or I don't know.
I think then if it's just like, if you want to hurt someone verbally or using media, which I do, through music, for example, then you should definitely be able to do that, because that's freedom of speech, But having freedom to act to hurt someone by using an act to do that, then you should think twice before doing that, because you know what's gonna happen, what will happen next, right? So I mean,
right. It's complicated.
Yeah, but very interesting.
but this is not really my kind of stuff, so I'm
What
just
is your
answering to
kind
your
of stuff?
questions. But
We
people should
understand.
be free as much as you
Yeah,
can.
I mean, first of all, we have to really understand what the concept of freedom is.
Yeah,
and
this
then
is
kind
this
of
is what I'm kind of trying to
elaborate.
figure out,
Yeah.
because freedom for every person, freedom is.
I think
something
women should be
else.
free in Armenia. That's a point I would talk about. I think they should be much more open to do whatever they feel. They should be comfortable and not be scared.
So you think they are?
They are, of course.
And what gives you that impression?
It shows, right? I don't know. I think people should be more open-minded, and I'm not saying to tolerate everything. I do not tolerate a lot of stuff, but the whole women in Armenia are not as free as women in the West, which is also
But it's changing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it is changing, yeah, but I think there used to be this sayings about Armenian women, if they go out with that guy and the whole neighborhood is gonna go know about it, then the brother and the father are gonna lose their mind, you know, and then it's gonna lead to marriage and stuff, and the church and all that stuff, you know.
Whereas men have the freedom.
Yeah, but it's the same. It used to be the same in Greece, and it's the same in a lot of different Eastern European countries. I mean, I was in Moldova. It's the same thing. It's very conservative, very traditional, and you know, it's. But this is also good. I mean, we have family values, but family values should have limits when it comes to individuals. You know, you should be free to do whatever you want, and
yeah, and it shouldn't be influenced with under. This is gender discrimination in a way, so one shouldn't be because of the other. That's very important. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, we have 4 minutes to go.
Okay,
Four
but
more
I'll be
minutes.
fast. Okay, Rudy, you've come back expecting what from this country?
I'm expecting to live my entire life here. This is my expectations. I don't want to live in any other different countries anymore. I want to live here. I want to work here. I want to grow old here and probably get buried here one day. So those are my expectations on my side, on my behalf. On the other side, I really hope that I'm going to be able to do what I really like, which is the new place, and keep going, you know, setting up a goal and achieving it, and then climb a higher mountain. You know what I mean? So.
Yes.
And the last very important question: what's your horoscope sign?
I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a happy person?
Very.
Great. Did you enjoy?
Now I'm very happy. We all have up and downs,
Mm-hmm.
but in general, now I'm much happier than, let's say, 2 years ago, or a year ago, probably even a few months ago.
Great.
Because I was struggling somehow, but now I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that I'm in very good contact, like in good terms and contact with my kid. So I get to talk to her very often, and as soon as we open the new place, I'm gonna be able to go and visit her like once a month, probably, hopefully.
That's
Great. So we wish you to grow the level of happiness as far as you go forward with everything you do in Armenia. And thanks for being with us tonight. We enjoyed this.
We still have a
chat.
minute, right?
Yeah, we still. She has a
I gotta
question.
squeeze this
She
in.
has another question.
Do you
to
have
go.
a motto in life?
Born to lose, live to win.
Born to lose, win.
Wow.
Born to lose, live to win.
Write that down. We'll discuss.
And that's from Let Me Kill Mr. Motorhead. There you go. This is it's a very good quote. We're gonna have it at the Ace of Spades at the bar. It's gonna be in big on top of the. Okay, I'm not gonna say this because it's gonna be a surprise, but it's gonna be on top of 3 pictures on the main wall. So it's just gonna say "Born to Lose" and "Live to Win."
This was very exclusive, people.
Yeah, especially for Homesick at Home on Radio Van. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for
hope,
sharing.
Hope you
Thank you
enjoyed
very much. Thank you, Ina.
being
Thank
here.
you, Rena.
And hopefully we'll see you around, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Yes.
Have a great weekend, y'all. This was Homesick at Home with Rena D.
And Ina MK.